Dr. Monhollon, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you being here. Tell us a little bit about your story of how you ended up getting to Hardin-Simmons and working here.
Well, I was in Abilene working on a publishing venture with my mother. We'd been law partners a while back, and she was in Abilene because Dad was teaching at the business school at Hardin-Simmons, and I moved here so we could publish some books together. We published about a dozen under the name Reflection Publishing. And while I was doing that, Hardin-Simmons asked me to adjunct a couple of courses. So I did that one semester. And then the next year, they made me a visiting assistant professor. And after that, they gave me a full-time appointment. And
so they're just reeling you in.
4 years after that, they asked me to be dean of the business school.
Wow.
And so it just kind of, Hardin-Simmons is like the tar baby.
So you mentioned your dad as being the dean, but your mom, tell us a little bit about your mom.
She had a master's degree in library science that she got from Vanderbilt when Dad was getting his PhD in economics at Vanderbilt. And we were living with my grandmother, who was in Nashville with the Southern Baptist Convention. She founded the recreation department of the Sunday School Board. So we stayed with her till I was 2, and then Dad got a job as a research economist with the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond.
So let's talk about that. That's pretty impressive. That's one thing when you told me, I thought, wow, that is so cool. Tell us about that. How does his experience affect you?
Oh, I grew up being, well, he wasn't a lawyer, but he cross-examined over the dinner table.
That's good.
If something would be going on, like at one point there was a debate going on about whether or not we should raise the minimum wage. And I said, yeah, I thought so, that people need a living wage to live. And he said, and at the time the minimum wage was $1.60 an hour. And they were talking about raising it to $2 an hour. And Dad said, well, suppose a worker's work is only worth $1.60 an hour. Would you pay them $2 an hour? And I said, I don't know. And he said, well, think about it.
That's a great story. So how did you get into law, and what drew you into eventually teaching?
Law is, I majored in math, and unlike a lot of the students I've had here, I had given no thought at all to what came next after college, and so I graduated from college and thought, I'm either going to have to go to work or I've got to find something else to do. And so I thought about law school at that point.
But then you get into teaching. How did you, that transition, you talked about it a little bit, but what is about teaching that you enjoy?
Well, I was once teaching a Bible study, a series of Bible studies, and we were talking about spiritual gifts. And I said that a lot of times people are looking for, which spiritual gift did you have? And my position was, well, I don't have a spiritual gift. I have talents, but I can't say that there's anything that I can do with supernatural power. And somebody in the class said, I know what your spiritual gift is. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, it's teaching.
Oh, wow.
And so that was probably the first thing that started me thinking about that.
What do you love about Hardin-Simmons students? You've been here a long time. What is it that you enjoy?
Been here a long time. The main thing is they laugh at my jokes.
That's all they require. Get an A, laugh at my jokes.
Or at least smile disbelievingly that I told such a joke. But that and the fact that they seem pretty engaged. I mean, a lot of them really know what they want to do when they get out, or the kind of thing they want to do when they get out, and they're here to get the skills to do that, and I find that refreshing.
You know anything about log cabins?
Yes.
What do you know about log cabins?
Well, I've inherited one down on the Manatee River in Florida. It's been on that location since the 1940s, and it was moved there from somewhere else in town. We think it was built sometime in the 1800s.
Wow, that's amazing. What a great history. A lot of folks don't know this, but you write stories, you write fiction. Tell us a little bit about that.
Actually, recently my wife set me to emptying out a file cabinet, and I ran into all sorts of critiques of things that I'd written that I had no memory of writing at all. Complete novels. Kind of intriguing, but it's gone all the way back since the 5th grade when I had to write a paper about what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I wrote about wanting to be a writer, and I got a D on that paper.
Okay, well I guess your teacher showed you that you shouldn't be, and yet you're still doing it.
An inauspicious beginning.
Oh, wow, that's great. Anything that you would love to do every day of your life if you had to do it every day, what would that one thing be? I
like stories. I like reading them, watching them, writing them, and I think that would that's always going to take up some of my time. And I really like the stock market. It's something to read about and think about and theorize about. And you get, unlike a lot of things, you can learn because you get really quick feedback. When you make mistakes, you find out in a hurry.
If your dad could speak right now about inflation, what would he say?
I think he'd go back to Milton Friedman's statement that inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon.
Great. I love Milton Friedman, and I love reading his works and enjoy history and reading, but I look forward to a lot of the things that you've done on campus. You put a lot of hard work into making sure we're heading the right direction. And I wanted you to know how much I appreciate our friendship from a long time ago, when I first met you to even now. You really do care about the school, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.